Well, welcome to the AM News. And our first story, Ace investigative journalist Anas Anas has criticized politicians and state actors who fail to act when media freedoms are threatened, warning such politicians could end up being afflicted by their inaction. His comments come on the back of recent reports suggesting an increasing number of journalists being harmed and in some instances killed in line of duty. Anas Anas, who was addressing the first Media Freedom Conference in London on Wednesday, referenced the assassination of a member of his Tiger Eye PI team, Ahmed Swaleh, who he says could have survived if state actors had taken timely action.
In recent times, there's been developments in Ghana that are quite worrying. I recall the death of Ahmed Swaleh, one of the energetic reporters that ever joined the stable of Tiger Eye. I also acknowledge the fact that sometimes media people have been irresponsible. We know that. But hey, we are a mushrooming democracy. Just as our judiciary has its problems, the police has it, the media has its problems too. And I dare say, and would say it every day, when the politicians mounted the podium and said they will hang journalists, and said that they would beat journalists, if government had spoken and had been firm about it, Ahmed Swaleh would not have died. So when it comes to media responsibility, it's for all of us to stand up, say it as it is. Because truth is that the gun or the torture that was meted out to Ahmed Khashoggi, the gun that was used to shoot Ahmed Swaleh still lives. And that same gun will be used against the politician if we don't stand up and fight for media freedom. Again, I have been thinking, how do we empower these people who disrupt media freedom? It hurts me that the West will give us money in one hand to enhance our democracy. And in the same hand, people who disrupt this democracy and media freedoms are given the opportunity to stash their money in banks in the West. How can we be giving food in one hand and another hand being used to take the food from our mouths? When we continue to empower these people, give them safe homes, create problems in Ghana, run and come and stay in London, or run and go and stay in any other European country, has access to all his funds and can do anything, it hurts. Because it means that we are not looking at the fuller picture. The earlier we stand up and be straight with these people, the better for us.
Elsewhere, Parliament's Roads and Transport Committee is expected to interrogate the Roads Minister on Friday over debts owed contractors that triggered a protest on Wednesday. Ranking member on the committee, Kwame Agboja, says officials from the Road Fund will also be in the meeting. He says government is to blame for the debts in the road sector, which he says is one of the repercussions of capping of statutory funds.
The debt is building up, the roads are deteriorating, and we don't have a solution. I think on the 20th of April or something like that this year, the road minister said he's got an approval to assess $1 billion to clear the arrears. So it's surprising that we're still here. But the situation of the contractors has become very precarious. Many of them owe banks and other things, and the banks are on their case. So government must necessarily find that $1 billion. It's not like the $1 billion will solve the problem, but it will be a starting point. So the contractors have been pushed to the wall. There's nothing they can do. The solution lies with the government. They must raise the necessary funding. But importantly, you will notice that out of the government's own capping policy, about 600 million Ghana cedi is almost 600 million Ghana cedi is taken out of the road fund, which generates about 1.3 billion Ghana cedi. So it's a self-inflicted situation. If that 600 million Ghana cedis is available to the road ministry. I'm sure it could have plugged some of the holes or carried out some maintenance on the road. So this situation is self-inflicted, and it's only government that can deal with it.
They claim that the finance minister is releasing portions of the money, but specific individuals are being paid to the detriment of the larger group, which is how come they found it necessary to be at the road ministry.
Well, the Committee on Road and Transport just summoned the road minister to bring the road, including the road fund, to Parliament on Friday. We are waiting for confirmation. For us to address this specific thing you talked about, that the payment is based on certain criteria which is not clear. So we want them to come and tell us the criteria by which they are paying, and we will make the public aware of what is going on. Maybe it's just speculation. Maybe it's true. We don't know yet.
Vice President Dr. Mohamedou Bawumia has disclosed that governments will from next year digitize the distribution of premix fuel and fertilizer to fishermen and farmers respectively in order to phase out the smuggling and hoarding of the products by distributors. This comes barely a month after a JoyNews expose showing distributors, particularly in the western and central regions, engaging in the sale of premix fuel at unapproved rates for fishermen. Dr. Bawumia believes this is the best way to tackle the current situation. He was speaking at the 3rd Ghana International Petroleum Conference here in Accra.
One of the areas that we have been discussing and taking a decision on is, for example, the distribution of premix fuel in Ghana amongst the fishermen. This is an area that has really been a challenging one, because there are subsidies to premix fuel. And whenever there are subsidies, the distribution of the product tends to create rents. And when it creates rents, all sorts of people come in the middle. And the fishermen who this is designed for ultimately don't even get the products, because the products are smuggled to other people who are maybe not even fishermen. So we've been looking at this issue, and we've decided that the best way to deal with this is to digitize the process so that we can be able to attack or direct the subsidy to each boat that is registered. And we've registered all the boats. So in fact, we sort of had this meeting to look at where we are in this yesterday, and we've given everybody, the whole team, 4 weeks to come finalize. And then we will implement a digitization process in the distribution of premix in Ghana, and we hope to extend it also to fertilizer in next year as well.
Education Minister Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh says President Akufo-Addo's era is the best time to study in Ghana. According to him, the introduction of the free senior high school policy has resulted in an increment in student enrollment by some 31%, reducing the incidence of hundreds of students failing or falling out of school each year at the junior high school level before 2017. Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh was addressing members of the Ghanaian community in Paris as part of the president's official visit to France.
Introduction of free SHS in 2017, we got an enrollment of 362,000. The following year, and that means those who are just finishing first year, about getting to second year, we had an enrollment of 433,000. These are not unique to His Excellency's first and second year. 10 years before that, every year, over 100,000 students qualified to go to secondary school and were just wasted along the roadside. And I think it is better for the children to be in classroom than the problems you are talking about. The second thing is that for the first time in 10 years, under His Excellency the President, and we have said this and nobody has been able to challenge it, every child in every secondary school has been supplied with all the core textbooks. It's never happened. It has never happened. Not only have we supplied the core textbooks, we have also supplied revision books in maths. And not only have we supplied revision books in maths, we are buying question and answers of the past WAEC exams for the last, since 1993, and question and answers of that for the students to learn. There's no better time to study than now. When the northern grants were established by Kwame Nkrumah, there were only 2 secondary schools in the whole of the 3 northern regions. It did not prevent Kwame Nkrumah from starting bursaries for the North. And not having sufficient classrooms will never stop us from offering free SHS to Ghanaians. In fact, Ghanaians have voted and the enrollment increased by 31% between 2017 and 2018. As for teachers, the President has already answered. They have introduced the qualifying exams. Before the President came, and before we introduced the double track because of the record enrollment, we employed specifically 8,000 teachers to supplement when we did the timetables that we needed, and the President ordered the Finance Minister to provide financial clearance. And we did that. Apart from the 59,000, that it includes the 59,000 teachers we have employed between now. So it is not very, very true. When you listen to the social media always, sometimes your judgment becomes clouded with the truth. I think you answered the question on the teachers. Now we have also changed the whole teaching curriculum in the country. There's no teacher going to be a diploma teacher. Everybody who is coming out to get a degree. We've changed the entrance qualification into the teacher training college and made it the same as the university. And when we did that, we got a record number of teachers applying, or students applying to go to the teacher training college. We know that when they were diploma students and they came out of the college, they spent an inordinate amount of time instead of teaching, doing top-up with various schools and not concentrating in the classroom. Now it is not forced to go, or it's not a second-rate school to go because you couldn't get into the university. It's a choice that you have decided to make as a teacher.
And that's it for the AM News for now. We'll come back with the newspapers. And an old boy of Presbyterian Boys Senior High School, Northern Aqua Hayford, will join me as we review the papers, all in the spirit of the finale of the National Science and Maths Quiz. Will they win back the trophy? We wait to see. Stay with us here on the AM Show.